Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Sam from Rokoko. I'm here for a little live stream action. So hope everyone is doing well in this crazy pandemic. I got a haircut finally, so I'm feeling good. Today we are going to be taking a look at some assets from Mocap Entertainment, which is an awesome motion capture publisher we have on the Motion Library, which is our motion capture marketplace that we have, which is native in Maya now and also is in Rokoko Studio. So I actually had a conversation over Zoom with Oshri Evan Zohar, who created Mocap Entertainment, and you can check that out on our YouTube video. We basically just talk about the motion capture industry. Mocap has been in it since the early 90s. They worked on Mortal Kombat, so it was a cool just kind of overview of the entire industry and the medical kind of kinematic, how motion capture is used in medical rehabilitation and stuff. So it was a cool little interview. And so we thought we'd do a live stream using some of their assets, and you can go check out the interview if you wanna see it. It'll be on YouTube, and we'll put the link down in the description below after this. So, okay. So today we are going to be working in Maya, and what I thought we would do is we would take a look at the motion capture assets from Mocap. So if we're in Maya, we're going to be doing everything in Maya. The Motion Library is located, if you do not know, under Animation Editors, Motion Library. So we released this marketplace in Maya, starting in Maya 2020.1. So if you're updated, this should be, ready to open up in your Maya. And I thought we would take some of these assets that we got from Mocap, and then we would take a look at the time editor in Maya. And using the time editor, you can clip motion capture assets or animation assets. You can, change their timing. You can do a lot of useful things in kind of a non-linear. It's like a non-linear animation editor within Maya. And you can also combine animations. So I thought we'd go over all of that stuff and just kind of have some fun, kind of check it out. Okay, so I'm in Motion Library. Here I am, and I'm going to go to Publishers because I want to go check out Mocap. And so here's Mocap Entertainment. Try and have very quiet drinks from my coffee because the microphone is right here. So if you open up Publishers and you go to a specific publisher, basically what comes up is, all those assets, specifically from that publisher. And then within that, you can filter the assets and kind of go to specific categories. If we only want to see the dance assets from Mocap, we just load in dance into the filters. So Mocap has a really great collection of assets in general. They have a lot of stuff that you might be looking for if you're looking for motion capture assets. They have a lot of walk cycles and kind of loopable assets. So those can be really useful, and some of the best ones on the Motion Library, I think, so far. Again, Motion Library is going to continue to grow, and so we'll keep getting more and more assets and publishers, but I really like the Mocap assets for walk cycles. Also, they have some great breakdancing power moves, and they used, I think, mostly a Vicon system to record all of these, so a really high-quality optical capture, motion capture system to get all these assets. Okay, so here's some dance stuff. I'm actually going to go back to all. And I thought the first thing that we could do is, let's get a dance asset. I think that would be perfect. Actually, that one we were just looking at might be perfect to check out the time editor. Okay, I like these breakdancing power moves. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this, and then we're going to play around with the timing and the clipping a little bit in the time editor. Kashif, what's up? You're awesome. Always here for these. Hopefully this will be useful for you. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to ask. Loud slurp. Okay, so I'm going to go for, I like this breakdancing power move. Good to see you too, Kashif. And I've actually I think I've already purchased it, so I can just download it. If I double click on this asset here, we can zoom in, we can zoom out. Oh, you know what? This actually is not the one. This is Russian. What is this? This is not the one that I want. I want this one. Breakdance power moves. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so get this into our Maya. All we have to do is, if we haven't purchased it, we would click add to cart, and then we would go up and we would purchase it. I've already grabbed this one, so I'm just going to import it. And boom, it'll drop the asset directly into our scene here. So if I hit play, awesome, looks super cool. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna add this to a character, because I want it might be easier to see what I'm doing, kind of what we're doing. So I have this rigged robot character. And I drop him in. He's already in a T-pose. If I go up to my, I'm in my human IK panel right here. You can click on it by clicking this little doll. To retarget animation, we're not going to cover that. We have a lot of tutorials about that. If you need to figure out how to retarget animation in Maya, which I think is the best program to retarget mocap in. Even if you're working in Blender or whatever it is, Blender's actually good now because we just released an awesome, or we're going to release an awesome plugin for that. But Maya is one of the best retargeters right now, just because of the way it solves retargeting, different size joints to your character's joints, which might be a different length, and it does all that stuff really well in the background. So I always use Maya. And the way that you retarget is you go up to character, select this is my robot AMAC Unreal character, then I plug in as source character, which is the downloaded animation we got from the motion library of the breakdance, and boom. So we already have our character. Super cool. Looks good. Okay, so that's easy. But let's say now I want to, for example, not have this animation start with a T-pose. It starts with a T-pose. That can be frustrating. You might not want to, you might not want to have that in your character. So how could we clip that out in a way that's easy? I don't want to go in and select all the keyframes, delete them by joint. That's going to be a nightmare. I just want to easily be able to kind of maybe even move the timing of this, offset the timing of this animation. How do I do all that? So in Maya, the way that I'm currently doing it is I use the time editor, which is kind of the non-linear editor for animation in Maya. There's not a ton of tutorials out there, but so I think this will be helpful if you're trying to figure this out maybe. Okay, so if we want to mess around with this animation in the time editor, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to Windows. We're going to go to Animation Editors, Time Editor. So because I am working on I don't want to, there's two skeletons in my scene right here, right? I have the skeleton for my character that came, with my character that my character is rigged to. And then I have the skeleton of the motion capture, and we're going to be messing with the skeleton of the motion capture because that's the thing moving right here. So we set this up to have the motion capture character driving our character. So if we make changes to the character itself, that's not going to do anything. That dance is incredible, says Kashif. Yes, I like this one a lot. But if we mess with the motion capture skeleton and that timing that's driving our character, that's what we want to be messing with. So again, here's the character skeleton that we just imported. We're not going to do that. We're going to go up to our hips. This came in from the motion library. And we're going to, in our time editor with our hip selected, we're going to hit add selected content to scene. If I use my mouse wheel, I can zoom out here. And so you see if we drag through here, we have our animation. But what's even cooler is now we have this clip that if we move this clip, it actually moves the timing of the animation. So if we go to frame 0, go to the beginning of our, here, I'll make this a little bit smaller to show you how awesome this is. But we go to the beginning of our timeline, right? It's in a T-pose. Let's say we don't want our character to start in a T-pose at frame 0. Drag this thing down. Now we go to the beginning of our timeline. If we export this, it's going to start there. So that can already be useful. However, let's say we actually just want to clip out that part of the animation. So to do that, I could click on my animation here, right click it, split clip at current frame. So, just cut the clip right there, delete this. And now I've got, a piece of FBX animation that has been clipped. So it's just a little bit even cleaner. And so already I think these tools can be really useful. It's hard to, CM asks, when will you offer support in Spanish? I don't actually know, but I'll check back and I'll get to that in the comments, because that is a great question. But a lot of these tools that what we just did is already really useful, because in Maya, it's hard to, I find it's hard to get, do simple things like this, like quickly and easily. Usually you have to get into a crazy graph situation or something, and this just makes it really, it's just a big building block, and you can like play with it, and it's easy to do. Okay, so let's say now we wanted to slow this thing down when it jumps. And in general, to mess with the timing of these clips, what you can do is you can grab the clip end or start, and you can like extend it out. And this is going to make the whole clip play slower, right? Because you're taking the same animation and you're dragging it out. Oh no, actually you need to go back, and let me undo that. So you need to, I think you need to go to scale clip, which might be right here, I think. Yeah, so I have the thingies turned off, the little helpers, but you can basically, yeah, so now this is slower, right? So if I wanted to play it in slow-mo and I didn't want to export at 120 frames, it gives you a lot more control when you have this little, building block to work with. So let's say I wanted to have it jump into slow-mo when he does the jump. So to do that, I could, go to the jump. Let's say I want it to. So David, you can go back, but basically what I did was I selected the hips. And then when you open up the timeline editor, you have a little button that says add selected content from scene. And it will add whatever you just select the top level, the hips, not this, I have it in a locator, but I selected the hips, the top level of the joint chain, and then hit, basically, you can also go to File, Add Animation from Scene Selection. That's how you get it in. Okay, but yeah, want to make this slow down. So boom, slow-mo as soon as it gets to be right there. So I'm going to select this clip, right-click it, split clip at current frame. Then I'm going to go to this clip, and I already have my scale. It's still selected here. Drag that out. And you know what I could actually do is, instead of doing that, first I'll go to, I want it to go back into full speed right here, let's say. So I'll make another cut. And so I'm just this bit I'm going to make slow-mo. Extend that out. Go back and play it. Let's see what happens. Oh, boom. Yeah, so let's make this longer. 500 frames. Slow-mo in my scene, all done easily. And then it goes, back into regular speed. Again, we'll release a tutorial on this too soon, but I just think this is an amazing little feature. Happy that helped, Dave. Okay, so one of the other things that's highly requested, and is something that I wanted to figure out how to do on my own, was how to blend two clips together in Maya. And there's ways to do this using Motion Builder that I've found. You can do this in Cinema 4D fairly easily. So I thought, you know, that there must be a relatively easy way to do it in Maya, and there is. And it's using this time editor again. You can also use the tracks editor. But I haven't figured out that workflow yet, so we're not going to use the tracks editor. We're going to use the time editor still. Okay. So let's start a new scene here. Get rid of all this stuff. Boop. New scene. Don't save. Didn't save it all at all because I knew it would work. Kind of. Maya will crash if it crashes in a second. That's what happens. Okay, so we have a new scene and we want to combine two animations. I'm going to go ahead and open up my motion library here. Oh, we will render it out, Kashif. Don't worry. I'm going to render it out in, I think, out of Maya. Okay, so first things first about this combining two animations. It's a complicated thing to do, and you kind of... It can be shown in a way that makes it seem very easy, but it's complicated, right? So it's amazing. So it's... there's some restrictions on this is easy to do, but there's some restrictions on what you need in order to do it, you know. It doesn't just work with like any size skeleton or whatever. So the first restriction is you have to have the two animations have to be from the exact same skeleton. So that's number one, because they all have to have the same joints, and for Maya to be able to just kind of blend the two animations together, they need to have the same joints, or at least that's what I've found so far. So it might not be true, and if somebody else has, you know, an answer, you know, or a way to combine two animations that aren't of the same skeleton, which I'm sure there is, you know, put that in the comments, and maybe I'll add that to the tutorial. But for the purposes of this, for right now, you need two skeletons. The two animations have to have the exact same skeleton. Okay, so if we use the same publisher or motion library, most of the time it will have the same skeleton. Sometimes Mocap, for example, they use, I think they use Vicon. I think they've used a variety of different, you know, motion capture tools. One of the cool things about the Rokoko motion library is that it is hardware agnostic, which means that our publishers can use any sort of motion capture technology to create the animations, and then they get uploaded. So it doesn't have to be using Rokoko hardware. So in Mocap's case, they used $100,000 motion capture, you know, recording equipment, a Vicon system, which is an optical system. It shoots cameras at little reflective balls that are all over a suit, to record all this stuff. But they also used other non-Vicon systems, I think. So maybe the skeletons for this publisher aren't all the same. They should be the same skeleton, and they usually will be. So usually if you're staying within the same publisher, you'll be able to use this technique is kind of what I'm getting at here. So I thought it would be good to take this run. We're going to take this run animation that we got here, and then, you know, halfway through the run, add a slip and a fall. So this could be combining, you know, martial arts. There's a lot of different things that you could use combining video clips for. In this case, it's going to be running and then slipping. But you can use this technique on anything as long as the skeletons are the same. So first things first, let's go ahead and download Run. Yeah, exactly, David. So David is commenting that instead of having them be on the same skeleton, you could bake them onto the same skeleton. You could and then bake them out of Maya. Basically, get the animations onto the same skeleton, and then you can combine them. So as long as you do that, then you can use this method too. Which there are tons of different ways to do that. It's just an extra step in this process. So so you can combine two different skeletons, but you would basically have to take them, transfer them onto a single, onto the same common skeleton, and then combine those two animations. Good point, Dave. David is definitely correct, but we're not going to do that today, just because it would be an extra step. So in this case, we're going to combine this run and the slipping on ice. So I've downloaded this run animation. If we hit play. Here we go. We're running. Woo! There we go. So I'm also going to download this slipping on ice. So I've actually already downloaded it from Motion Library. If we go into my downloads, whenever I go to a new clip, and whenever I download a clip in Motion Library, it'll just put it in my downloads. So here I've downloaded the clip. It's in my downloads, and we can't actually, for this method, or at least that I've found so far, you can't have them both in the same scene. I can't import it here and then add them into the time editor. I've got to add it from outside of Maya right here. Okay, so to combine these, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my time editor. Windows, Animation Editors, Time Editor. So this is that add selected content from scene. I'm going to go to my hips. And I'm going to add selected content from scene. Okay, now we go. Here we go. So we have our runner. I'm going to throw it into 24 frames a second. And we're looking good. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that downloaded animation from Motion Library, slipping on ice right here, which went into my downloads as soon as I clicked download in the Motion Library. And I'm going to drag this into my time editor. And for some reason, when you drag it from Maya, I can't get it to read properly. So I drag it from outside of Maya, just into the time editor. And now, if I put this on the same track, I just click and drag and move it up. If I play this, it has the running, and then, oh, it jumps back to the slipping on ice. But it's one skeleton. The important thing is that this is one skeleton. So now we can combine these two. And merge the two clips. And so that's what we're looking to do. Okay, so first things first, we're going to find a good combination point. So when I'm going to go look at the slipping, and when the slipping occurs, the character's left foot is on the ground. So I am going to want to have the runner have their left foot on the ground in order to have the smoothest transition into the slip, right? Because we want that it's going to blend these two animations, and the closer we can get them together initially, the smoother that blend is going to be. So if I look through my runner and I say, okay, where's the left foot on the ground, right? There, left foot is on the ground. So that's going to be my, yeah, right there. Right there. That's where it's going to transition. So first thing, I'm just going to get rid of the end of that clip. Split clip at current frame. Select this one. Boop, delete it. And next thing, I'm going to go get rid of this walking bit in this clip. And I just want to have it start right at the slip. So right here, left foot's on the ground. Split clip at current frame. Boom. So now, we have this very inelegant, transition. So that's not exactly what we're looking for, right? We want to have this smooth blend. And so one way we could do that is just moving this clip in to the other clip. And now when we play it, oh, we have a kind of a slip. So this one worked out relatively well in that, you get this like sliding bit when it's sliding to the new position, but it kind of looks natural. Like if we play it, it kind of looks natural, but oftentimes, the animations won't be in the same position. So you're going to have to use, like the second animation will start, way off in the distance, or not way off in the distance, but it just won't start right where your first animation ends. So you normally have to kind of relocate the second animation to make it match position with the first animation. This one works pretty well right off the bat. I mean, this is like, we could go home on this. But if we wanted to match the positions, let me just show you how to do that, because that can be very useful. So if we click on our first animation here, we right click it. We go to relocate, and we go to match relocators. Boom. So then if we click this, actually, no. So first we're going to go to that animation, and we're going to click the joint that we want to have them basically move the second animation to. So we want the two left feet to be the point at which the animations, we want those feet to be in the same position, and then the animation will kind of blend. So I'm going to select the left foot, and I'm going to hit this button right here. Wait, that was the right foot. So nope, we don't want that one. Left foot. Boom. Oh no, actually, so we're going to actually go to previous left foot. Boom. Then we're going to go to next. And we're going to go over to the next animation and still have it. And then the matching time, we want to have it be right where the transition between the two clips. So current frame, or you can say end of first clip. That makes sense. Matching pose, full XYZ. Rotation, I think I normally do full XYZ, but let's do project along global Y for now. I think that will be okay. And hit match. And so it closed, no error, so we know that it worked pretty well. And now, see, that left foot is like at the same, it's really at the same spot, right? It basically moved the second animation so that it was at the exact same spot. So this is such an abrupt animation, shift right here still, because we haven't blended these. So now if we go and we blend these, we'll get a really smooth blend between these two animations. Let's end this at 50 frames. Boom, and there we go. And so now if we wanted to put this onto a character, we would go and grab our robot, drop it in. There's our robot. Select our robot in the human IK panel. Select character, which is the name of our animation, our the imported mocap that we had. Hit play, and there we go. Look at that. Change this back to 50 again. Turn on, oh no. Sorry, I was hitting 6 to turn on shaded mode. 6 to turn on shaded mode. Hide these skeletons. Boop, boop. And there we go. And so if I wanted to export this character out to another program, I would go and I would hit, I would click this button right here because I would want to bake this animation onto my character. Bake the skeleton. And there. Now I can delete the other, our original mocap. I just have the skeleton of my character. It's playing this clip blended. These two clips blended. Yeah, which is and so which is all really awesome. I'm really happy with this workflow. Again, the thing I think that's difficult with Maya sometimes is that it can be a little bit opaque and scary. And this is a relatively easy way to combine two motion capture animations, which is a very difficult thing to do and something that many programs struggle to do because there's so much going on behind the scenes. You have each joint, the rotation of each joint going keyframed all the time, and they have different lengths and different positions and stuff. And so I think this is, this can be a really great workflow for blending 2 clips in Maya, which is currently the best way to retarget mocap, and so it makes it all easy again. So hopefully this was useful. I see we have a couple questions from David is asking, you have FaceCap for Android. I thought it was only for iOS. And we are working for, we are going to be releasing an Android face capture solution. And so that'll be really exciting, and that'll kind of open up our face capture possibilities a lot. So expect that. That's coming. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have any other questions. I'm kind of buffering a little bit, so I might end the stream here. But yeah, hope you guys found this to be helpful. And we'll see you on the next one. We have some software updates coming up soon. So stay tuned for those, and yeah, just awesome, cool stuff coming, and hopefully you guys found this useful. And again, go and check out that interview with Oshri from Motec when you have the chance. It's really interesting, talking about Mortal Kombat and kind of the ways that mocap can be used in the medical community. So it was definitely an interesting conversation. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in on this kind of short live stream, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks.